North Carolina Democratic Congressman Wiley Nickel is with us now. Good to see you, sir. Thank you. Welcome back to the program.
Great to be with you.
The way she sets this up tries to split the baby on the issue of moral clarity, because if the war ends right now, Hamas stays in power in the Gaza Strip. And I am wondering if Democrats find themselves in a position where politically you have to say things that practically, maybe even morally, don't make a lot of sense.
I think they've been really consistent on this. I heard her say Israel has a right to defend itself. The way it does matter. I agree with that. But we've got to get to a two-state solution. That's the only way we're going to have peace in the Middle East, is if we can finally get that two-state solution. That's more elusive right now than it has been, but that's got to be the focus of our foreign policy. And now with President Biden on his own to focus on these issues, I'm really hopeful that we're going to get there in the next several months.
Forgive me, I've been there.
Not a two-state solution, but it's
okay. I was there 14 years ago, and we were talking about how we were almost there on a two-state solution. So it's difficult. It seems as though it's a difficult political issue for you. Roy Cooper, in terms of a yin and a yang to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris certainly has the far left of the party. That she was the most liberal senator known in 2019. Roy Cooper, the Democratic governor of North Carolina, I know a good friend of yours, is on the short list for VP. Would that change the dynamic of the race, you think?
I think absolutely. Roy Cooper would be a game changer as the vice presidential nominee on the ticket. He's won statewide in North Carolina twice on the same ballot that's elected Trump. A good moderate governor who would bring North Carolina with him. You know, there's no math where Trump gets to the Oval Office without North Carolina.
So in other words, you view Roy Cooper as the firewall, if you will.
I think he's a winning choice and a good advocate for folks, you know, on the left, the right, and the center. That was his coalition to get elected governor. You know, and we're talking about those ticket splits.
So interestingly enough, when there was talk of Joe Biden dropping out, there was talk of Roy Cooper being the nominee. If there was going to be some kind of democratic process, some kind of primary contest or convention process to find a nominee, Roy Cooper was somebody who was listed on the top of the ticket. MSNBC, of all people, went to talk to the far left of the Democratic Party about the coronation of Kamala Harris. Here's what they came back with.
Well, it would have been nice if he made this decision a year ago, so we could have had a primary and, you know, maybe decided who we want to replace him rather than just all flocking to Kamala Harris.
I think by trying to clear the field and ensure that it was going to be Biden and make sure that there wasn't any sort of not allowing us to have an actual Democratic primary process, you know, I'm not saying I think Kamala Harris is going to lose, but I do think that we would have been benefited significantly if he had figured this out far sooner, so there could have actually been more time to have an internal debate, have internal democracy.
There is a certain enthusiasm, I get it, about Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. Money's flowing in, people are giving endorsements. Is there a risk, though, of different factions feeling like they were disenfranchised?
I mean, this is just all unprecedented. We've never been in a situation like this. I applaud President Biden for passing the torch, you know, but what comes next is a process that's playing out. We have, you know, delegates to the Democratic Convention. They're the ones who are going to make the choice. Pretty sure the vast majority have said publicly that they know that Kamala Harris is the right choice. And for us, we get to start talking about the issues now instead of spending the next.
Well, look, it short-circuited the Trump campaign, right? Because they thought even if Joe Biden did drop out, there was going to be a couple-of-week process. Instead, it was a couple of hours. Speaking of Donald Trump, you were on the same stage as him in Nashville on Saturday about Bitcoin.
This coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday, about Bitcoin. What's a Democratic congressman and Donald Trump doing on the same stage?
We're talking about the future of Web3, blockchain technology. It's a big conference. I'm somebody who's been pushing to make this a bipartisan issue. We passed Fit 21 in the House with 71 Democrats. That was a big thing that I worked on. Donald Trump is trying to politicize the issue. So I'm going there to Nashville to tell folks.
To depoliticize the issue.
To depoliticize.
Okay. All right. I don't know if that's possible in 2024, but I wish you a lot of luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.